Greetings, everybody. It's Jim. I'm here with Rob Conley of, Bat in the Attic fame. He just got done with a Kickstarter for, and the entire title was, Rob?
Into the Majestic Fantasy Realms, The Northern Marches.
The Northern Marches. Okay, now this is a living world sandbox. Now, unlike a normal sandbox, what do you mean by living sandbox?
Well, the whole point of a living world sandbox compared to other sandbox campaign is, well, like other sandboxes, the direction of the campaign is determined mostly by the players and what their choices are. A living world, what I try to do is run the campaign in a way that creates a sense for the players that they actually visited the place as their character while having interesting adventures. But I don't really, like West March is all about going to the town and then going out and slowly exploring this wilderness. And there are other styles of sandbox campaign. So that's why I distinguish my living world, is so that you feel like you visited it.
Okay. Now, I remember Fate had, not necessarily Fate, but there's the not Legendary Adventures, that's Gygax, I'm sorry. It is a Fate game. It was Star Blazers and Legends of Anglair. They did something like they would have statistics for their cities and such like that, where they can kind of fight each other while you're off doing something else and something could be happening. Is it something like that, where something's happening in the background even if the players aren't there?
Well, yeah, I call it World in Motion, although unlike most games, I don't really have a lot of heavy-duty mechanics. You could. I mean, I've used Harn Manor, and I use GURPS Mass Combat. I've used stuff to handle it, but generally I encourage people, because we're doing this for a hobby, is to basically keep track of it through notes. And, what's key is your organization, that you know what the important characters are in a region, and you just keep track of what they do, and you write a sentence or two after every session to update what they're doing, and you update that on the basis of what the players do or don't do.
All right. Now, I started off right with a bang with a question and stuff like that, and I didn't get any background here. But if you were to look around this place, it is loaded with stuff from ages of role playing. What are some of your before we get back into that? What are some of your fondest finds that you could say that you have? I see a lot of original D&D stuff up there, but is there anything that you like? Oh, this is
well, great. Yeah, all this my Harn stuff here. Let's pull out one of the binders.
Not going to complain about this plug.
So, I haven't actually run much Harn, but I have used a lot of the articles in my campaign. I just adapt them for towns and cities and sites, which is great because, Harn is a medieval fantasy, and whether I would, back in the day I ran the Waterlands, and now I run my own setting, the Majestic Fantasy Realm, but I would take a place like this, and, if I need a port town, I would just pull it out of here and adapt it. Now, eventually I would draw my own maps, but, if you're running a weekly campaign, you're always pressed for time.
Right.
And so all of this has been an excellent resources, whether I need Vikings or whether I need, wilderness stuff. And the other books I have here, well, aside from the fact I'm a big fan of Traveller, but all these GURPS books, I ran GURPS for 2 decades as my main system. Now I run my own Majestic Fantasy RPG based off of Swords and Wizardry.
Okay.
But these books are still an excellent resources. Like GURPS Russia up there, I used it as a starting point to do some research on Russian folklore, Slavic folklore, and that got worked into the Majestic Fantasy Realm up here in the area that I call the Wild North.
Okay. I'm going to try to get a shot of that if I can here. There it is. Yeah, right there. Just a beautiful map. I mean, how long does it take you to make that map specifically? Oh, no. Okay. That's an edit.
Yeah, that's an edit.
That's an edit waiting. Or I might just keep it in as part of my charm.
I would say it took me 3 months of part-time work. I would say 36 hours.
Oh gosh, I think anybody would
spread out over 3 months.
Oh sure, but I'd be jealous. That's jealousy right there for me. I'm looking at that. It's like that's nice.
Sure, and I got some close-ups.
Oh yeah, I seen you bringing these over.
I did some test prints. Orient this right, or the stuff is going to fall out.
Yeah.
By the way, folks, if you have big maps that you want to tote around and use at conventions or a game store or your friend's house, I recommend these portfolios. Even if you don't have any big maps, you can use it to store your little bits.
I think we'll have to actually look those up at Columbia Games when we went to Gen Con this year. That would be useful. We have a 3-ring binder for it, but that would be nice because our maps definitely are pretty nice. And definitely you've got the old school look for all these maps.
Yeah,
here.
And of course I have hard stuff in
you
here.
got chairs on right there.
Yeah, fortunately I don't have any big enough to fit the main Harn maps, with these little maps that they released at one time. I forgot which product these went to, but that was nice that you could get those. But this is the so I'm limited by Drive-Thru RPG. They have 12-inch by 18-inch poster maps available for print on demand, which is nice. But if I want to... So what I did was I designed this project to have 4 of these maps, but I made a combined map at a smaller scale so people can see it all at once. And then these are the full scale maps.
Oh, wow.
That the Kickstarter backers get. Now these are the referees version. I don't have the players version printed out, but there's a players version where I don't have all these little notes and stuff like this, only common knowledge stuff on here as well. So this is the what I call the Great Glacier area, dominated by the Great Glacier. This is the Wild North. Then this is Black Marsh. And this is Northport. Now, some of this stuff I published before, like Black Marsh, but only a little portion of it is here. All this is new. This is completely new. As well as stuff up here is new.
Now, that brings me to a question, because you said that this is is this like the 6th installment of your work? Because you did 4 things for Goodman Games, yeah?
Yes. And
how does this connect with all that?
Okay, so I got started in professional writing and stuff like that, thanks to the Necromancer game Waterlands box set, and it retailed for $70, which is a pretty big ask. And because of that, I thought, you know what, I could do a letter size version, same format that we did in the box set. Obviously, I didn't have a Judge's Guild license at the time, so I had to do something original. But I pitched it to Goodman Games. He said yes. So I wrote Points of Light, which was 4 settings, letter size maps. And it was a 64-page book, and it retailed, I think, less than $20. So it was something that the people can get an idea what they're going to get without having to shell out $70. Nice. And then it sold reasonably well, so I got to do a Points of Light 2. And the theme of that was exploration of the new world. So it was, again, 4 maps depicting different area of that setting, new world. And then later on I did Black Marsh, and which was set... So this area was Southland in the original Points of Light. And I set Black Marsh up here. And so the two had joined each other. And that's where it sat for a number of years, because I got a Judge's Guild license and started publishing Judge's Guild related stuff, like my Majestic Waterlands. And then when that license ended, I returned to this. So I took that and then expanded all this area around it. So
how when you got your first book in, how motivating was that to just keep going after that first initial sale to Goodman Games and such?
Pretty motivating. It was nice to see. It was gratifying. People getting some use out of it. I was getting compliments about it periodically. So I know people. It just didn't something I didn't release it, and it just sat there. People actually appreciated the format, talked about it. So I continued doing it and just tried to do better each time. Try to figure out more ways of making this what I call hex crawl formatted setting more useful for people. Because the whole point of this hex crawl is to give you a whole lot of local level detail in a compact form that's easy to use for prep and at the table.
Right on. Now you gathered a definite fan base over the years, and how many people just like jumped on the I think it was Black Marsh. You said that, how many downloads did you get of that? You gave something away for free, and like you had like it says on the Kickstarter.
Oh well, Black Marsh. I sell the book, but the PDF is free, and yes, I have 20,000 downloads.
20,000 people. That's
well,
a
actually,
lot.
it's 22.
Okay,
not
22.
to brag, but it's 20. It's up to 22
we
now.
got to get it right. We got to get the numbers right here. Yeah.
Now most people say, well, yeah, it's a free download, but here's the thing. They got a point. It was just a link onto my website, but this is on Drive-Thru RPG, so they have to search it. They have to do the checkout.
Yeah.
Even though it's free, they have to check it out. So they went through the effort of downloading it, and more than the book itself. While only sold over 1,000. No, yeah, over 1,000 copies of the book.
Sure.
They liked it enough to buy the book.
Yeah.
And now it's a platinum selling.
Yeah,
book.
they had it for free. Well, you could just have it for free, and now they shelled out their money.
Right, and you can print it. I mean, it's not like you can see how thin it is. It's not like it's hard to print, but yet they decide to buy the book.
Yeah. And then there was the fact that the proof is in the pudding with the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
I mean, there's, every Kickstarter you run, you're going to get new fans. But you definitely had a good start, head start. It was like, boom, it was off and running right when you hit the button, wasn't it?
Yeah, it funded within, 20 minutes. And
what was the goal? About
2,000.
Yeah, okay.
But it's obviously, how you reconcile that with the fact that I just dropped $10,000 on art.
Oh, yeah.
Well, see, I make enough from my store, it's in the low hundreds in months that I make from my drive-through store, but I plow some of that into Patreon sites.
Sure.
And so I have accumulated a lot of art, the kind of art like landscape art, and a few bits of character and monster art, but mostly landscape for this project. So I've been preparing this for a number of years. So if I only got the $2,000, then that would all gotten plowed into editing, and then I would have drawn what I call mini maps, and the rest of the art would have come from people like the Forge or Rick Hershey, and so I have I just did a backup, like 50 gigs of stock art that I bought over years.
Oh, yeah. You got Richard Luschek, too.
Yes,
yeah.
I got Richard Luschek, but this is the first project I was able to put a serious art order because he doesn't do stock art. So
right.
I have to commission everything, and that's that gets pricey. So
it can.
With my how to make a fantasy sandbox, I commissioned the cover off of him and a handful of pieces here, and I did the same with Rick Hershey.
Whoa.
Now this time, and I spent about $3,000 on the art for this, and the rest came from the stock art that I bought.
Yep.
But with this, well, I still had to use plenty of stock art. I have over 350 pieces of art in the book, but I was able to commission 60 brand new pieces for this project.
Nice. They say, you can't judge a book by its cover, but people will still buy a book because of it.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
From guys that, we use Richard Luschek a lot. I see Rick Hershey and Steve Jackson Games a lot. There's a reason why these guys are getting hired.
Yeah, they do. They do their commissions well, and they just bring it to life in a way that AI art or other most other artists can't do, and that's why I like hiring them. Yeah. Plus, they do black and white equally as well as color. So I like doing. I think my layouts work pretty well in black and white, and so I'm going to stick with that for the foreseeable future. Yeah. And for those who don't know, know what I mean. You know, this is,
You might want to just go ahead and get closer to that. There you go.
you can see like that, and see where's a good one. Yeah,
That's a good one.
there.
That's Rick. I can tell. That's another thing about artists that are good, because one thing I would say about modern artists, they merge together to me. You know, some of these older school artists and stuff like Rick's not too old, I don't think.
No,
Not
but
Hershey, but you know, you could tell right away. Rick Hershey, Richard Luschek, and a few others I can tell. But a lot of the more modern ones I see is just like, they all look like the same to me a little. But anyway, here's another question for you. Now you say there's no major story arcs in this new Northern Marches.
no.
Okay.
There's just a bunch of NPCs with their little plans and their little plots. Some of them connect, some of them don't. You can think of it like if you were to take all the details in the map, there would be like ink drops on a white piece of paper. Some of them spread very far, obviously like a king's influence, very far. So he might, the ruler of Tyvar, his influence may be felt as far as this. While this settlement is called Palansk, the lady who rules that, she doesn't have a huge sway. And there, I know you can't guys really see it, but there's little triangles that mark layers in ruin. Some of them have a big influence, some of them don't, and that's how they interconnect. And I try to write it like if it was a real place, so stuff makes sense. So if there's a dragon's, there's a dragon's lair here, and there's what I call the Duchy of the Osterbards, and the Osterbards are kind of concerned about that dragon.
Oh, bets.
So the settlement, the eastern settlement, I mentioned one or two things about what they're doing to deal with the dragon.
Just something for the game master to play with.
Yes.
And you've mentioned that too, that your settlements and such are spread out enough so if the game master wants to say, I need something here, they can.
Yes. If you see this, I'll give more detail. Plus I'll show this. So one thing I'm doing, you notice I divide into 4 maps, and you're probably wondering, now what about the corner? Well, I'm going to include a 5th map essentially, or a 6th, because the overview is going to be in there. So I combine the corners so the people can see how the maps all join up with there. But you can see here, there's a triangle here, a triangle there, there's a settlement here, a settlement there. So there's plenty, not every hex is detailed. No, I know like some of the settings, like Domenwood has a thing in every hex, but I don't do that, so to make sure there's room for people to place their own stuff. You can probably even see it more clearer on this. This is a map I use at convention. I kind of blew it up.
Oh, okay.
And also an example of what the player's map is going to look at. There's no layers marked. But you can see there's plenty of gaps, even in this densely populated area.
Right on. Now you said that it took, you told us about how long it takes the maps. How long does it take you to write something like the Northern Reaches, like the areas and stuff? I mean, I guess I can. I
can tell you this. I can, I'll look at this to make sure I got my rep. I can say something like Black Marsh, something. That's a letter size map, this scale.
Okay.
Which I recommend starting with. Don't shoot for the 412 by 18 maps. And I'll explain why in a minute for your first time. But, let's see. Yeah, how I made Black Marsh. So the guys who were making a retro clone called Delving Deeper, it was going to be a box set, and I was in on their group. They wanted my comment, and they were thinking about what to put in the box set. I said, well, if I made a setting, what's my page limit? Well, can you do it in 16 pages? 16-page booklet, digest size? Yeah, I can. So I made the pitch on January 20th, and he liked the idea. We hashed it out. On the 23rd, the other guys on the project like it. And then beginning of February, we decided on doing it. So 2 months.
Nice.
Now, something this scale, which is like, you got to understand, the bigger you make the map, your work goes up by the square of the area. Okay?
Yeah.
It's not twice the work. Making the map twice the size isn't twice the work. It's 4 times the work. And here I have essentially 8 versions of this, so I had 8 times the work here. So it took me a better part of a year to complete it all.
Oh, wow. Now, that one you just showed us, that was in the How to Make a Fantasy Sandbox, that timeline. That's actually quite motivating for people that just might want to try to create something, you know. It's like your version of, didn't Gary Gygax do something like the challenge, 75 challenge or something like that?
Not sure. I don't recall something like that.
Yeah, it was something he wrote that just try to help people just get motivated to do it. It's kind of like
he did write those books. I forgot what they're called, but they have like random tables. Book of names or something like that. So he wrote that to help people get started. He had a whole series about have world building and stuff like that.
Okay. Let me see here. Okay, now you have a Creative Commons license on this. You want to explain that one?
Like for other when people? I get done with this, the maps and the text I'll be releasing as a markdown document. Creative Commons, just credit me and you can use it for whatever projects you want.
And that includes commercial?
Yes. Creative Commons. Creative Commons doesn't.
Right.
Well, yeah. I'm sorry, there are different types of Creative Commons.
Yeah.
No, it is Creative Commons. It is CC BY, which means the only requirement is to credit me.
Okay, that's a generous thing. I really think that a lot of people are going to probably use it and see that crop up. That would be pretty cool to see.
Yeah, they've done that with Black Marsh already, and actually most of the projects have been overseas. So there's been the Spanish OSR community. There was a group there coming out with their own RPG. And they took Black Marsh and adapted it and made it the core of their own setting, and they expanded it. They drew more around it and made it their own. And I think it's been translated into multiple languages. And those projects I couldn't do on my own. And I just don't have the resources. I'm a one-man shop, as you can see.
Oh yeah.
So there's a French version, there's a Spanish version. Thanks to that OSR group, there's a Hungarian version. There's an Italian version.
That's got to be satisfying.
Yes.
What's next on the menu? I mean, this is a big chunk, of your life here. We're going on this. You're going to be taking a break, a sabbatical, or are you going to be hitting the nose of the grindstone with more?
I'm going to be do more. There were some parts that were chopped out of here. Mm-hmm. First of all, I'm going to do. This is the old Greyhawk folio, and I want to do a version of that for the Majestic Fantasy Realm.
Okay.
But when I started working on it, I did 2 of the lands, 2 of the capsule summer series, because for people who don't know, that's not overly detailed. There's just a lot. That's just a whole list of capsule summaries of terrain and countries in there, and the guidebook to the Majestic Fantasy Realm was going to be similar. But when I looked at the word count and added to the word count I already had written, it would have been a bridge too far. And then the other thing that got axed was the towns of the Northern Marches. I was inspired by the cities of Harn, the original cities of Harn, and I wasn't going to make them that terse.
Okay.
Okay, I thought it was a little too terse, but I was not going to make them the size they are now. For example, Tashel, I believe, is 64 pages. Yeah. So I was going to try to keep them 16 to 20 pages each, and make offer that. But that, again, like the guidebook, that was a bridge too far. I had to focus on the core project. But the actual plan project is the full version of my Majestic Fantasy RPG.
Yeah. How if somebody wanted to get into your stuff now, what's available right now? Like, I know you sent some stuff out for the Northern Reaches, right? Or no, not yet.
No, not yet. But I have what I have out now is Black Marsh.
Mm-hmm.
If you want the print copy, PDF is free. I have the basic rules for the Majestic Fantasy RPG, which has everything you need to play the system up to 5th level. It just doesn't have all the options and stuff. Right. It just has the 4 core classes, some monsters, some treasure, some advice. I give advice in there, so that's good.
And I've done a video on that one a few years ago, so check that one out. A link will be down below for that.
And of course, I have How to Make a Fantasy Sandbox, which helps you get you going on making your own setting on within a time you have for a hobby. And also, when I wrote this, I used a setting called the Island of Piade as an example, and I excised that out of this book, and it's also a separate book. So if you just want the setting, if you like the setting that I used for an example here, and you just want to use it as a reference, you can buy a separate copy of that.
Are you
foolishly? I did not think Nope, I did. Good. I have a soft cover here. So that's the Island of Piade, and it has nothing but the setting detail. But unlike Black Marsh, I really get into the nitty gritty. So not only I present a map of the setting, I also present like an entire town, like villages, then the town of Mikvah.
So you definitely go deep on this.
Yeah, there's the town map.
Okay.
And also stats for NPCs.
Okay.
That's a picture by Rick Hershey, by the way.
No doubt. He does some pretty wild stuff. I like it. What is so are you, if somebody wants to get into the Northern Reaches now, or the Northern Marches, sorry, what do they do now? Is it, are you accepting late pledges, or?
Yes, I'm accepting late pledges for the next month at least.
Okay, for the next month at least. Okay, good.
Yeah, I'm going to be a little late on the deadline. I badly estimated how long it would take to prepare art orders for the artist. Turned out I had to do. So if you have a big project that has a lot of art, I recommend, even when you're in rough draft form, do a preliminary layout, because that's the only way you're going to get a reasonable count of what you need.
Yeah.
What you're missing out of your stock art collection. So that took me a month to do.
Oh boy.
And then from that I was able to make the list, and then finally get the art orders. So and I'm not going to ask them to do it right this minute. So
sure,
I'm going to blow it by maybe shouldn't be many more than a month.
Oh, I wouldn't even worry about that. Just you've already updated everybody on that. Yeah,
and they have the beta release, so that test layout I did is already available for download for people to use, plus the JPEGs of the maps.
Okay. Well, you got good guys on it too, so that's not a problem. Now, trivia question: does Rob Conley have a favorite set of dice? Yeah. This is a dangerous question to ask.
Not sure why, but yeah. So my son is into 3D printing. So for Christmas 2 years ago, he printed me this box, put my logo on it, and for people who may or may not know, there's guys who sell OSR patches. So I measured it and had him put a slot so I can tack it in there. But yes, this is my working dice. Oh. I like blue and white.
Nice and simple. You can see it from far away.
And the bulk of the dice are game size dice with the sharp corner.
Yeah.
Definitely. But if you have a favorite set of dice, I would say these Magic Missile dice.
I was looking at those and saying, what are those? I didn't Missile dice.
Magic Missile dice. I have 5 of them.
Oh, nice.
It's corny, but hey, I like it.
That is nice. So it already adds the +1 in there.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay. So just so you can see it here, it goes up to 5 and it doesn't have a 1. So that's pretty cool. Where can you get these ones at?
I bought these 10 years ago now. I don't know.
Is it Kaplow maybe? I don't
know.
Google
Magic Missile dice.
Okay. We'll have to look for that and give them some love and give them a link down below. Okay.
So this is my favorite accessory.
Okay.
So I use maps and minis. I do like them, but they also serve a practical person because of hard of hearing. And if the more I get people to show me what their character's doing, the better off I am and the smoother the game runs.
Okay.
But sometimes I don't use a grid or a battle, grid. So I got this with Mage Knight from back in the day, and it's just a handy ruler.
Nice.
And it's compact, and it's just durable.
How often do you get to play anymore?
I play every week
Well,
online,
okay.
Face to face. Yeah, so unfortunately, the pandemic really messed that up for me. I got apparently my family's immune to COVID, and I am extremely susceptible to COVID. If it was GURPS, it would have been a disadvantage written for me. Susceptible to COVID. I got it 5 freaking times.
Jeez.
Yeah, I'm surprised I'm not wrecked already, but I lucked out on that. But I'm a little shy about doing face-to-face. But I go to conventions. So I went to WizardsCon in the spring. I'm going to ShireCon in Connecticut in the fall. And then I'm going to Page in January. And I'm also slated to go to North Texas Con in summer of next year.
Oh, nice. You ever been to GaryCon?
No. I will get to there sometime.
Yeah. It's tough to get a vendor. I think I missed it by a little bit or something. I swear I put the application and stuff. I want to go back there. I went to the TSR museum, so that was a nice little thing. So as far as anything new that we all see the OSR stuff with the old school stuff, and it's once you have it, and you got so much here. I see everything from Spell Law from Iron Crown Enterprises. I see the Fantasy Trip there, of course.
Yeah.
That caught my eye right away. It's like, yes, he's got it. But
yeah, I was kind of tickled that Steve Jackson was able to get the copyright back on that, because I think Fantasy Trip was kind of like his lost love, and now he regained it.
Yeah.
And so when he did the box set, I splurged a little.
Yeah, definitely worth it. It was worth it. I've got everything for that thing. David Pulver just came out with another module, as a matter of fact. It was the Path of Mastery, so it's off of this Wizard School of Treo. But what's new that you think from the newest stuff? Do you think is something that you like?
Well, I like the Mongoose second edition Traveler stuff. A little pricey for what they. Okay, so they did a really good job, bang up job. Just kind of like $5 or $10 more. So I don't just buy stuff on sight unseen. Yeah. But it's probably the best edition of Traveler yet. Even though I'm still partial to classic Traveler, and I got to run it a few back here and made my own rule summary for it and stuff.
Nice.
But as far as
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, as far as new, well, the Fantasy Age from Green Ronin is fairly good. Shadow Dark.
Yeah, what is your opinion on that? I mean, you like it, so what do you like about it?
It's a brilliant system.
Yeah.
I like something with a little bit more meat on it, but I have run it, and I would have no problems running a campaign or game convention on it. It is a brilliant. She did an excellent job. She did an excellent job with the logistics, with the running the Kickstarter and reaching out to the community, involving the community.
Yeah.
I mean, if I have a complaint, it's like it'd been nice if there was a Creative Commons version of it. Not the whole thing, obviously, but enough of it that if somebody wanted to do a Shadow Dark related RPG with a little bit more clear cut what the limits were.
Yeah.
But she is still pretty generous with it, and there's a lot of third party content out there, including one by his name is Greg, and he just had a Kickstarter called Shadow City. It's not taking late pledges, so you'll just have to wait until we released it. But it was very successful for him, and so I think that's probably one of the best for the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Matt Finch, even though it's a retro clone, he's been doing a bang-up job with Swords and Wizardry, but more importantly, he's following it up with supplements like Friends and Foes, the Tomb of Adventure Guide. I'm not going to drag this out, but this is the Tomb of World Building here.
Okay.
So it's all good stuff. Oh, and if you guys are into City Adventures, I stupidly did not get the book, but I heartily recommend City Encounters.
Okay.
This is so good. And what's great about it is, yeah, he's quite a few, but what happens when I run out of 200? Well, he has these charts on many of them. Kind of, if you're familiar with Traveler, they had a supplement called 76 Patron Encounters, and at the bottom of each encounter, they had a chart you wrote on to tweak the encounter, so you could reuse the same patron in different ways. And he does the same thing here, which is a smart move.
Nice.
So I recommend this for any fantasy system. And then I think the folks at Columbia Games has taken, and Celestia, I got their version of Harn Master, but they have taken, there's a new golden age for Harn, and I think they did a great job with the hardbacks there. That opens it up to a lot of people, even though I prefer the binders.
Yeah, well, most game masters would definitely still use the binders. The whole reason those hardcover sells because, and I knew it is just like, hey, people want that on their shelves. It's like, what would the people that have everything for Harn want to buy anymore, right? And we had to think of something, and bam, there it is. Hardcover.
Well, I do have a suggestion for after Evo.
Okay.
And you have to think about this suggestion because it might not be the level of professionalism going, but everybody who loves Harn will appreciate it. I mean, I would challenge you to have Son of Kingdoms as, once you get Evo done, you have Son of Kingdoms, and each son or daughter, if you want to go that route, would be the additional articles that you released, a hardback.
That's a good one.
But you would call it Son of Kingdoms because you did that Son of Cities, which was really great. They expanded each of the original Harn cities. There would be a little tongue-in-cheek reference to the past history.
All right, well that's a good one. I'll definitely pass that along.
Yeah, because you have enough articles for each of those hardbacks to make a second hardback.
Oh yeah, well, definitely. Believe me, we're not going to run out of hardbacks too soon. We still have Harn Master to come out with again.
Right, and the
Bestiary.
And the Bestiary.
That one should be definitely done. We haven't done that for. I think we just got that one's going to take some. It's up to Brent Bailey. Brent Bailey's got. He's the one that puts the logistics of everything together. And every time we say, "Oh, this should be easy," we already got this stuff. He's like, "Well, wait a minute. There was more we could do." It's like there's always something.
Magic. There's magic and religion as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's one thing I want to give a shout out to the Harn team, writing team. It's like for people who don't know. I mean, I don't know what the financial relationship, but I know it's like there's a lot of volunteerism in that group, and that whole organization that keeps the Harn content flowing. It's a real labor of love, and it shows in the product, and they've done an outstanding job, especially since they settled the current setup 15 years ago or something. Yeah, it's been really pleased with the output.
Oh, good. What are the chances? Now that I'm thinking, I don't want to because I almost forgot twice. Since you love Travelers so much, what's the chances of you doing some science fiction stuff?
Well, I got a project list of stuff. I have ideas. It's called The Majestic Stars.
Okay.
And the core conceit is that humanity's leaps to the stars only to find Earth. But Earth of 65 million years ago. In every direction, they haven't reached the limit yet, they find terraformed planets with Earth ecologies on, but not Earth based on our present day, but Earth of 65 million years ago. And as near as they can figure out, that there was a dinosaurian civilization that grew and thrived, but in the depths of time, it was just a blink of an eye. But they reached out to the stars and transformed the world and transplanted Earth in every direction for hundreds of light years. So now they go to these worlds, and on some of them, the terraforming has failed, and they reverted back to a hostile life state. But on some of them, Earth thrived, and some of them, the descendants of the dinosaurs still thrive. On some of them, they died out, and different orders of insects dominate, mammals dominate, different worlds, and some of them sentient species developed. So I thought that was a pretty unique premise, and I thought it was it's interesting that you could, because if you do realistic star generation, what you'll find is life-bearing planets would be like oases in a huge desert. Like I wrote a random at the time in the late 2000s. I wrote a random star system generator based on the science of the time, and I just let it run, and within like 1,000 light year volume, I found 4 inhabitable planets.
Oh, man.
Now there were near inhabitable planets that could have been terraformed, but planets you would have gone there and explore, and like you would in Star Trek or Traveler, there were few and far between. And I thought, what's a way I can run something that wasn't pulpy but rested more on solid ground scientific wise? I think, well, even if they were technologically advanced, their civilization only lasted 100,000 years. That was a blink in the eye as far as Earth's history. Hell, the whole fact that the dinosaurs got wiped out and life on Earth reset could have resulted from a cosmic war waged on their civilization. And, so that's the premise of the Majestic Star. But unlike my Majestic Fantasy realm, I had a lot of time to work on it.
Right. Well, I mean, it's just like, I lived with the guys at Columbia Games. I lived with Tom Dalglish in a little mother-in-law apartment, basically.
Uh-huh.
When you go into his office, there's like a ton of ideas. You could see him in little boxes, and some of them have collected dust. Some of them he takes out and works on for a little bit, puts it back. It's a lot of stuff, and I imagine it's much like you. You got like a lot that you could do.
Yeah, and then there's the question of how I place it, because one thing that's part of my process is I don't release stuff until I ate the dog food myself.
Yeah, right.
So I need my friends for that, and my friends really want to play in my Majestic Fantasy stuff.
Yeah.
And they still, even after all these decades, they still have stuff they want to do.
Mm. Well, it's good to have an audience of built-in playtesters, right?
Yeah. So,
nice.
But actually, I've been kind of reaching out to people, seeing, maybe there isn't much I can do with my Majestic Star, but maybe I can sell the idea, because I do have a couple thousand words of notes and stuff, and depending on, and I wouldn't get the full financial benefit like if I did it myself, and I'm prepared to that. But if I find a good partner, I can just do what I can, get the share that's reasonable for what I put in, but yet people get to use the idea.
Nice. Okay, another 2 more trivia questions here. Basically, when Rob's not playing role-playing games or board games, I see Starfleet Battles up there, Federation Commander and such. When you're not playing games, what are you doing? I hear your wife laughing over there.
Playing computer games?
Oh, yeah, that doesn't count, Rob. It's still games. But what else are you doing?
I like world-building games.
Okay.
I play Hearts of Iron 4. I have the Operational Art of War 4, which is a hex, which is, as far as I'm concerned, the best hex encounter.
They still make that? I didn't know they made that, actually.
Yeah, I mean, you can still buy it. They don't develop further. Like Hearts of... the Operational Art of War, I think it's like the final version. But yeah, you can still buy it. Get all these scenarios for it. You can play them over and over again. And the best part is I won't knock over the board because my wife moved in. She comes in one day. Rob, what are these? And she holds a little cardboard shit. Look at all over. I keep finding them all over the place. Oh, they're for my war games. I knocked over the board one time. I guess I didn't find all the pieces.
Oh, man. Having cats and having boards. I mean, it's, my friend Lee would joke that it was a Flames of War tournament. And he said, when was if somebody came in with a leaf blower in the middle of the tournament? That would have been bad news. So as far as
I guess if you want a hobby outside, is I used to be more into it, but I wrote there was a program called Orbiter Space Simulator, and it was not a game, it was a serious simulator of space, and the author he released it for free, but it wasn't open source. Well, it is now, but it wasn't then. But he released an API for it, and that means programmers like me can write add-ons for it, and we just couldn't sell the add-ons. But if we were enthusiastic about it, and there were a lot of people, including me, enthusiastic about it, we could write some pretty nice add-ons for it. And my add-on was I took the original NASA documentation for the Project Mercury space capsule and recreated it in Orbiter to the point where every switch worked like they do in real life, and you could take the original flight plans and fly the missions.
Nice. Cool.
So I don't do a lot of development work because with the role-playing stuff, frankly, I'm a bit better at the writing role-playing stuff, and more importantly, people really like my role-playing stuff.
Yeah.
And I want to write stuff that are useful for people, and so that's been beside the put away aside. But I did I run Kerbal space program out the wazoo and all that stuff.
Neat. All right. Well, Rob, I wanted to thank you for having me over and such, and looking at your little trip back in time here. Actually, quite honestly, never seen so much of this at once outside of a store, and even then they don't have as much as you.
I will add one comment. So it may look like I'm a collector, but I'm only a collector of one stuff. This is all stuff that I wanted to get. Mm-hmm. Like I always get the 3 core books for whatever current edition of D&D.
Sure.
Some of them I don't use that much, like D&D 4E and the current 2024 version, but some I use a whole hell of a lot, like D&D 5E. And but most everything here I played at one time or another. Or in the case of something like Ars Magica or Harn, which I don't play as much, I use as reference. But I have a lot of it. But the thing I collect is that row of box. So what I decided to keep it sane was I lost a lot of my box set back in the day. Mm-hmm. The box got smashed or whatever. So I decided, spend a little of my Kickstarter money, and I would buy everything that I lost.
Oh.
So that included,
I was looking at that. I seen that Dragon Quest from SPI.
Yep, the original Dragon Quest. I bought this with my own money back in the day.
Oh wow!
And I was able to find this at a good price. And not only I found it at a good price, it was unpunched.
Nice.
So I knew what I lost. I bought what I lost, and I pretty much stopped here.
Nice.
I did buy a few things I wanted back in the day, which was like the Fantasy Pass and Arms Law.
Oh yeah, the original Ice.
But the Fantasy Trip, that satisfied that itch.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much the extent. So this is the collection that I didn't buy just to have. This is stuff this is shit I use.
Nice.
I've run everything here at least once. Or tried to.
Well, I guarantee a lot of people are going to be using your stuff.
Up there is Hackmaster 4E.
Ah.
So this is when the license sunsetted. And one of my friends named Dwayne, he was looking on eBay. Hey, they're selling this Hackmaster 4E for dirt cheap. For $60 you get, well, you got a 1.5 foot long, 1.5 foot books, including the core book.
Oh, wow.
Why don't we get in on this and run like an AD&D campaign, but on steroid, because we knew what the Hackmaster 4E was like.
Yeah.
And so we bought it, and we think that somebody was emptying out Kensico's warehouse and selling it on the side.
Mm.
And so we got it, and we all sat down here and opened up our player's handbook and started making characters. We got to step 3, and it's like, oh my God, what is this stuff? I mean, I know Harmmaster has a reputation, and it has a lot of tables that you'd use at each step.
Mm.
But for every table that Harmmaster had for character generation, this had 2 or 3. And we said, you know what? We loved AD&D from back in the day, but we're not going to do this. We're not going to do this. So we did it, and it just went up on the shelf.
Oh, man. Well, Rob, one thing I don't think will be on the shelf is, our collecting dust is definitely your stuff that people are going to be buying. They're going to be checking it out, grabbing it, and using it a lot. And right now, the links will be down below for everything that Rob's got here. Then you can still check out the Northern Marches, right? I keep on wanting to say Northern Reaches.
Majestic Fantasy Realm Kickstarter or Northern Marches Kickstarter. Either one of those will get you.
And you can still get a late pledge for about the next month.
Yep.
So check that out, guys, and I'll see you guys next video.
Bye.